Hello, listeners. We have Hyunjoo here in our studio. And that means it's time for Law in Our Life. She's a lawyer practicing law here in Gwangju, and she's also going to help us learn a little bit or a lot about Korean law. Hello, Hyunjoo. It's great to have you here.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm surviving this summer. I'll tell you a secret. Today, I finished my last exam.
Wow.
So
Congratulations.
I'm free. I'm happy. Now, what have we got for today?
Today's topic would be industrial accidents.
Oh, all right. I'm interested in this. I'll tell you why later.
What to do if you are injured at work? Mm-hmm. What is your right for the medical benefits?
Okay, well, I guess it would start off by we have to define what is an industrial accident here.
Yes. Industrial accidents mean any injury, disease, disability, or death of a worker which is caused by an occupational reason or by cause related to work. Mm-hmm. The government provides medical treatment and life support for workers injured at work.
Okay.
So under Act on Employment, etc. of foreign workers are also recognized as workers, just like Koreans. So foreign workers can be compensated for the damage due to injury or disease occurred at work by the Korean government.
All right. Right away, I have a question there. What if they're working without a proper work visa?
They still can benefit from this.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Program.
Okay,
yes.
So they still have protection under it.
Yes.
Well, that's very progressive. That's good to hear. All right. So let's assume I have an industrial accident. What should I do?
If you got hurt or developed disease at work, you should take the following measures. Mm-hmm. So, if an accident occurs, report to your employer immediately and ask for help.
Yeah.
Many people think it's not a big deal to get hurt while working, such as lifting heavy boxes and spend their own money to see the doctor or buy medication for self-treatment. Mm-hmm. But if it got worse, then people may inform the company of their injury. Often your company will not acknowledge such health condition was caused by hard work or its environment. When an accident occurs, report to your employer immediately and think about the strategy.
Okay. What's the next step after that?
Second would be to collect the supporting evidence. Mm-hmm. It is critical to collect supporting evidence in case of injury at work. Often with hard work, simple backaches can soon develop into chronic symptoms such as dislocation of disc. Ooh. Even though you have a medical bill, the employer may argue that it's a personal health issue unrelated to work. Mm-hmm. Thus, if you have any health issues, you should go to see a doctor whenever needed and keep a medical record of your condition as a record.
Yeah.
In case of chronic disease, your medical record can be used as important evidence to find out the cause of your sickness.
Right. Especially, I guess, if it can line up in timeline with your work record.
Yes.
Like if you're saying, oh, my back got hurt at work on this day, and on that day, your job had some big delivery of cargo that you had to move around, then there'd be some overlapping
kind of causation, evidence. Yes.
Right, yeah, a pattern, right?
Yes.
Okay, what's next?
Also, if you had a colleague nearby, you can have him as your witness. Mm-hmm. If you got hurt when nobody is around, you may have hard time to prove the accident.
Oh, no.
At the accident, you should call out colleagues and report to the chief manager and tell him what happened. Mm-hmm. If you have any injury or abnormal condition at work, tell your co-workers and later ask them to be your witness for the injury at work. Uh-huh. You should tell the co-workers and have the witnesses ready.
Sure, I guess you don't want them to be surprised.
No.
Okay, very good.
Also, having a medical certificate, such as doctor's opinion, is very important. Mm-hmm. You should explain to your doctor about the accident at work, your health condition, and injury. If needed, you should have an interpreter for the meeting.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess, I've never thought about being hurt at the job here in Korea, because as a teacher, you don't have to worry about it too much. Yeah. But I know it can happen. I think I know someone who got burned at school, like they were doing a cooking lesson.
Oh, I see.
And I think that's about the kind of thing. I mean, you've probably never been hurt working as a lawyer. Right?
No.
Okay, that's lucky. Are there some special kind of things we should remember for how to deal with a workplace injury?
Yes, you should remember that you should apply for industrial accident compensation which is medical care benefits, no later than 3 years from the day you received medical treatment.
Okay.
So the statute of limitation for your right is 3 years.
3 years. That's pretty long.
Yeah.
It's pretty generous.
Yeah, but if you just rely on like 3 years window, then you might lose a chance to like have the proper evidence with you.
Right. Okay,
Yes.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say sooner than later, right?
Yeah. Right.
What's the next one?
The period that a worker did not work due to injury or disease caused while performing his duties, and the period that he was medically treated will be counted into the term of employment.
Okay.
So such period will be counted in when calculating severance pay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
All
even
right.
though you didn't work for a certain period, it doesn't mean that those days will be deducted.
Okay. Well, so as an example, you know, Hagwons, they offer you 1 month's pay severance at the end of a year contract. So let's say you're working for 9 months with them. You get sick at work or you get hurt at work. You miss 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Then at the end of your contract, you say, okay, where's my severance? They say, well, you missed 2 weeks of work.
No.
That doesn't work.
Yes.
As long as you went through this kind of process.
Right.
Okay. Well, that's good to hear.
Also, a worker cannot be fired during the time of medical treatment and also for 30 days after the treatment is finished.
Oh.
So, like if the injury, it was to treat the injury or disease occurred at workplace. So, during the time you are at the hospital and also for a month later.
Wow. Though if after a month, if my injuries left me unable to perform the work, then they can fire me. Or let me go.
Yes, but there is special additional benefit that you can apply for.
Okay.
To cover that injury.
All right. Fair enough. Now, you know, often when we're doing this kind of paperwork, applying for these things, I know there's a lot of things that you need everyone to agree on. But what if my job doesn't want to, you know, sign up on the paper and say that this happened at work?
Oh, it doesn't matter. A foreign worker, like if you want to apply for an industrial accident compensation, you do not need the signature of employer.
Oh.
You can do it by yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's easier.
Yes.
And, and then, you know, I look at your script now and you actually answered my question that I had earlier, which is about the foreign worker, right?
Yes. A foreign worker without legitimate legal status in Korea can be compensated for industrial accidents as well. You will not be deported until the treatment is complete. Therefore, if you have injury or disease that requires medical treatment for more than 4 days, you'd better ask for industrial accident compensation. Also, if you have a confirmation from Korean Workers' Compensation and Welfare Service that it's an industrial accident, you can apply for G1 visa to the immigration office and stay in Korea for the medical treatment.
Oh, all right. Very good. Which your employer might be liable for, your medical treatment.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's very good. And you know, what a clever lawyer you are for understanding already what one of my questions was going to be. Now, I'm going to run you through a scenario because this happened to me.
Okay.
When I lived in Canada, I worked in a lumber yard and I worked with wood and cement. And one day at this job, I got my hand caught in a radial arm saw. My glove got pulled in and I cut the little tendon of this finger, but I cut the ring finger almost completely off. It was hanging. So I had to go to the hospital. They had to fly me to a better city, to a better hospital, do some emergency plastic surgery. They did a pretty good job fixing it. So if something like that happened in Korea, you know, how would I be treated afterwards? Like what process would I go through, do you think?
So you mean for at the hospital or for like applying for a medical benefit?
Well, the thing is in Canada, even if I cut the finger off at home, it still would be free at the hospital. Oh. They would still fly me and go treat me the same way.
I see.
But here, you know, an accident like that, that's expensive.
Right.
But here, the employer, the government would cover all that?
Yes. If you later apply for this compensation, you can get reimbursed for it.
Okay, but that's later. But what if I go in and, you know, my finger's cut off?
Or
and they say, can you pay?
They wouldn't like ask you to pay right at that point.
Yeah, they'd still treat me first?
Yes.
Even as a foreigner?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
or depending on the hospitals, some might not.
all right.
But once you can provide like your ARC, the alien registration card, and if you have any like friends or colleagues who can be with you and confirm your identity,
Okay.
then it might help, I think.
All right, great. And then after that happened, I couldn't work for about 6 weeks.
Okay.
And my job had to keep paying me, I think like 90% of my normal wage while that was going on, even though I couldn't work. In Korea, if I had an accident like that, does my job have to keep paying me? Is there anything like that?
I may need to check that part.
All right.
But one thing is that even though you don't work for that period, you will not be fired.
Okay.
And if you have any physical injury or disability that prolongs, then you can later apply for nursing benefits.
Oh, all right.
Yes.
That's very good to hear. Well, thank you so much for coming in today, Hyunjoo. We really appreciate it. And we can check this out online, right?
Yes. You can find the segment in video and my YouTube channel. You can find me by searching Korean Law 101 on YouTube.
Well, thank you so much for coming in today.